Tracy talking.
Today I have Mr. William Stokes here with me. Here promoting this book, In It for a Minute. So, Mr. Stokes, go ahead and tell me a little bit about the book.
All right, yeah, sure. Well, first of all, man, before I jump into the book, man, I gotta say, man, thanks for having me out. You know, thanks for inviting me to the sit down. You know, I don't take it for granted. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But my book, In It for a Minute, man, it's really about transforming your life in as little as 1 minute a day. I mean, as you know, man, we live in like a microwave society, man. Everybody wants everything like instant, you know, and they want it like yesterday. But, you know, reading is still fundamental. So you still have to read and things like that. So In It for a Minute is just a way for people who don't have a lot of time, who don't want to just sit down and pick up a book, but you want to grow personally, you want to develop. Like, there's stories in here that, not necessarily stories, but it's more like life-transforming principles and lessons, life-transforming principles and lessons that I put together. And I know they work because they help me transform my life. But like each lesson, man, I mean, you can read it and literally it takes about a minute to read. I know you probably can't see this, but like, you know, this is it. Like each lesson is, you got the lesson over here on the right. You can read this in about a minute. And then it has a couple questions that you can, you know, that you can ask yourself and just sort of think about throughout the day. And then if you have time, you know, you can just sort of fill in the blank or just some things. But yeah, pretty much the book is about transforming your life in 1 minute a day. I mean, it's personal development type stuff. Most of them are like spiritual principles. I don't get preachy in the book or anything like that, but I just use a lot of knowledge from the Bible, and I pull from different spiritual principles and just motivational techniques and things like that. So that's the book in a nutshell.
Okay. Now, I've been watching the In It for Minutes online for a while now.
Okay.
And I know they started off as videos. Mm-hmm. So what initially inspired you to do that?
Man, what inspired, it's sort of similar like to what you're doing here on the sit down, man. It's like you see all the negativity out there, you know, and I'm like, well, you know, I need to put something positive out there. I remember having a conversation with a buddy of mine, and I was just telling him, like, man, I want to start putting some videos out there, just some positive content, some motivational stuff, just because I just feel like it's part of my calling and my life purpose. And he was like, well, yeah, you know, they have like, you know, Instagram, man, you can put these 1 minute video clips up there, and, you know, as long as you can say what you can say in a minute, you're good. Or, you know, you can do series and things like that. And so from that, I thought about it, and it just clicked, man. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I was like, I'm just start putting, you know, I'm going to make full use of that minute that Instagram has. And how the name came, yeah. It really, like, how the name came to me, man, it was just really simple. I was like, dang, man, I only got 1 minute. And I got to say this stuff. I'm like, man, I got to get right up in it. So then,
that's catchy too.
Yeah,
man.
so that's what I said. I was like, oh, hey, I only got 1 minute, so I got to get right up in it. And bam, I just go into the lesson, man, hit a couple quick points and put it out there. But ultimately, man, I just wanted to do something, man, to get me closer to my purpose in life and my calling in life. So I just felt like that was a great avenue, so I just did it, man. Had no idea that it would go into a book or anything like that. I mean, when I first started, man, I probably got like 5 or 6 views on each video, you know. But as I kept going and kept doing it, I'm like, oh, he's serious. Like, this ain't just something that he did 1 or 2 times. So, and then it just sort of picked up from there.
So you said this helps you get closer to your goal. What is that goal? What do you mean?
My goal, man, ultimately, well, it actually did get me to my purpose in a way, because my goals, naturally I'm an author, man. I'm just like a writer at heart. You know, I tried different things, tried different things in life, but I mean, ultimately I'm an author. So when I started doing these videos, I had no idea that I was going to turn it into a book, but just having some good friends and stuff like that, and people, friends, mentors, and just some wise counsel in your life is very important. Because I had a buddy of mine who was like, man, you could turn this into a book. And I was like, yeah, I can. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, because I knew I was always a writer, so I just kind of rolled with it. I'm like, you know what? After I did a few, I started compiling them and seeing how this could help me, get to my goal. So, I mean, pretty much, man. I just rolled with it, man. Everything just kind of came together, man. It's just like, you ever heard that saying, like when you take one step, God to take two.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It's like that type of thing, man. I just started like taking some steps, and other stuff started flowing to me. Ideas started coming. People started saying things like, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about putting it in a book or XYZ or making a series? And I'm like, nah, but I am now. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, man. Excuse me. Like, my purpose, and I'm going to just, to summarize what I'm saying, like my purpose and my calling is to be an author. But, man, really, I just want to inspire people to be the best versions of themselves. You know what I'm saying? So, just the fact that we're sitting here today, I feel like I've accomplished something because I'm like, hey, man, I'm working with somebody that I may have potentially helped inspire to get closer to their goal or closer to their purpose.
Has there been anybody who reached out who let you know that, like, you really helped them? Yeah,
man. I get people very often, actually. Like when I'm looking on social media and things like that, it's not really a good gauge of how many people are actually viewing or how many people are actually engaged in it, because some people are private. Sometimes they won't just like something or share something, things like that. Yeah, and I'm that way, so I understand it. I get it. So, like, because I do it all the time. I like people's messages, and it really helps me, but I don't necessarily share it or whatever like that. But that's just me. So, so I don't worry about that. But what happens is, man, literally, almost everywhere I go, I run into somebody like, hey, man, I'm feeling them in it for a minute, man. You blessing me, man. You helping me out, man. I look forward to it. I'm getting comments like that. Every now and then I get a message in my inbox, be like, hey, this one really helped me out. This message helped me out. It really inspired me. So, I mean, I know that it's fulfilling its purpose. It's doing its job. And my goal, man, to be honest, I'm just a man of faith, man. So I kind of take steps by faith. And so I understand that, you might not see the full effect, on this side of things. So I just got to put it out there and trust that it's going to do what it do, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how I operate, not only just in the book, but just in general. That's how I operate. I put things out there, and I don't really worry too much about the actual, tangible results. Right. Because I know if I follow what I'm supposed to follow, it's cool, you know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, that leads to throw the book up again for a minute.
Oh, you got to promote.
Yeah, I got to promote. So, WilliamHStokes.com is where you can find that. Nah, it ain't on Amazon and all that, but I ain't going to get into that. But WilliamHStokes.com, in it for a minute. But one of the lessons in there is called obedience equals success. So you can't really, I don't gauge my success by Instagram followers or how much money I make per se, because I ain't mad at the money, but I don't really gauge it like that. I gauge it by if I'm obedient to that internal voice. You know what I'm saying? It's which leads me. It's another one I got called the GPS. Talks about God's positioning system.
Yes, sir.
So, like, if I'm obedient to that internal voice and I'm moving in that vein that I know I'm supposed to be moving in, I know I'm being effective and I know I'm being successful in heading in the right direction. so I end up at the right destination. So I mean, that's kind of how I operate, man. It's just I do what I know to do is right. I put it out there, and I get I do get feedback, but all of the feedback is like not right there online. People may not comment or post, but like I said, I run into people all the time, and pretty much everywhere I go, like, man, hey, I only got 1 minute, man. Then 40 minutes.
I'm one of those people, man.
Yeah,
I'm one of those people.
So I get it all the time, and I'm just like, man, I know you watch it, and I be like, man, you could have at least liked it.
Yeah, we're gonna try to see if we can get some more likes on there, because I think you have a message that can really help some people out. You can help some people out of a dark place. Like, I don't know what gets you up every day to wanna just be as positive as you are. And I can't remember the last time I seen anything. I don't think I've ever seen you post anything negative. Everything that you posted is just positive. So what inspires you every morning to wake up with that positive attitude? Oh man,
I mean, I gotta say, it's my faith in God, man. And you mentioned about this helping pull some people out of some dark places.
Right.
So I've been in some dark places. You know what I'm saying? And fortunately, like I'm from South Carolina, so. Fortunately, man, a lot of people here, like in North Carolina and things like that, they just kind of know me as how I am right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they don't know like the old me and some things that I came out of, some really dark things. So, I mean, basically, man, I've been in some very dark places to where, on a few occasions, man, I should have been, out of here. You know what I'm saying? So. It's just, I know that I'm here by the grace of God, and I'm here for a purpose. So I just really work towards that purpose, man. And I have a wife and kids, man, and a lot to live for. I understand, like me personally, I sort of have a burden, I'll say, or a heart to help people out of dark places through the media, through the media and through the things that I did. I did it in music. Now I'm doing it in my writings, and I got a movie and things coming out. So ultimately, man, just my faith in God, just knowing that I'm like, okay, like I really shouldn't be here right now. I could be, dead. I could be in jail. I could have like lost my mind. There was so many different alternatives, but for me to like really be here, I'm like, man, let me just at least make it positive. Not saying that every day is a great day. I mean, I have my moments. You know what I'm saying?
We all do.
Yeah, we all do. And see, that's why it's so important to have a circle of friends, man. I have certain people in my lives when I'm having those dark times or those dark moments or temptations or whatever. The things that everybody deal with. When I had that. I kind of have some people that I can reach out to.
Somebody to bring you back, pull you back up.
Exactly. Because I understand, like, okay, once you put it out there on social media,
it's out there.
It's out there. You can't take that back.
Even if you delete it, somebody saw it.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody saw it. So, I mean, there might be some stuff out there.
Now I gotta go.
Probably won't find it.
I gotta go dig in the archives to see what I can find.
But yeah, man, I just want to, I just want to represent me. My family, my faith, and my friends, and everything like that.
So, with this book, you continue to do the In It 4 Minutes after you've done this book. So, will there be a second book?
Oh yeah. So I have it set like this intentionally, to where I want to have like different volumes of it. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Different volumes of it, and I'm gonna hold it up again. In It 4 Minutes.
Promote.
Yeah, you got to. Like I said in the back, hey, got a minute? Everybody got a minute, you know what I'm saying, to read and transform your life. But like I said, I did this. This is volume 1.
Okay.
So I do it to where I could have at least a few volumes of it, to where, I mean, a month is 30 days. So I just got it like, okay, well, you may not want to sit down and just read, because I'm not really an avid reader, not like I used to. So, but I got a minute. I can sit down for a minute and read something if it's really gonna like trigger something and impact my life in a positive way. So like I said, it's 30 days. I put 30 in here intentionally so you can just do one a day.
Right.
You know, at the
so
very
I read
least.
the book wrong, basically.
No, not really. But that's good though. That means it captured you. You know what I'm saying? It grabbed you. But see what you can do now. This is a book. Like, okay, even though you read it, you could say, like, say for example, you already read the book. Man, today is December, the 1st. You could go back through and like read one a day. Just really then you can focus on the questions. You know what I'm saying? Let the questions soak in, because the 1 minute a day, that's the hook.
Right.
You know, see, the story over there is the hook, but where the transformation comes in is if you really engage in the questions. You see what I'm saying? And then when you answer those questions, what happens is you start to thinking, and it pulls stuff out of you that you really didn't even know was there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm just I'm fishing, I'm mining, I'm gold mining, I'm trying to pull jewels, and I'm trying to pull the precious stuff that's inside of individuals. I'm trying to pull it out with those questions.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So like, even though you read the book, you may want to take time and like, you know what, let me sit down and answer the questions over here. And I got like even a note section in the back. So even though it's a short space right there, because what you'll find out is once you start answering these questions, it's going to be so much more that you're going to pull out. Right. And a lot of times we find out, man, that we've been limiting ourselves. Like a lot of people, man, have very limiting beliefs based on how they grew up, things like that, and what was taught in their homes, just subconsciously. So that's what the questions do. They kind of get in that subconscious mind, that stuff that was taught without being taught. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's a part of you. It pulls that type of stuff out.
You definitely have some great lessons within the book and also online. I think that you can definitely help out a lot of people.
I appreciate it. So,
at this point, where can they find the book? Where can they find you? Where can they reach out to you? Okay. Where do they need to go?
Yeah. So right now I'm working everything through my personal website, WilliamHStokes.com. So if you just Google my name, WilliamHStokes.com. On Instagram, it's William H Stokes. On Twitter, it's William H Stokes. Facebook, just if you Google the name, my information is going to come up. The book is going to come up. Even if you Google "In It for a Minute," it ranks pretty high up there too. I think it's a sort of unique name, even though it may be like a phrase that people use, but as far as naming stuff, it's pretty unique. So just look at the cover. And even if you want to email me, it's info@WilliamHStokes.com. So if you can remember the name, I ain't hard to find, Well,
I definitely appreciate you coming to sit down with me, man. My very first guest, Mr. William H Stokes. Check him out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and WilliamHStokes.com.
WilliamHStokes.com.
Tracy Talk.